Now, why would a mom who runs a business, who manages her career, and juggles family life also choose to homeschool? And why would you ever give up 8 uninterrupted hours of work every single day just to take on being the lead of your kid's education? Well, the truth is that homeschooling actually gives our kids something that traditional school never could, and the benefits are just too powerful to ignore. So today, I'm sharing my 3 biggest reasons why I, as a working mom, choose to homeschool, and how I know that this choice will impact my kids for the rest of their lives. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Elon. I'm a homeschool mom of two. And in this episode, I'm pulling back the curtain on why I said yes to homeschooling as a working mom and the 3 powerful ways that I know that this choice is setting up my kids for future success. Because let's be real, in theory, as a working mom, it would be way easier for me to just put my kids on the bus every morning or drop them off at school so that I could get 8 uninterrupted hours to focus on work. Because that's the default for a lot of moms. And I totally get it, right? But I choose the more complex road on purpose. I homeschool my kids not because it simplifies my schedule, but because it gives them an elite education, unique opportunities, and real world experiences that they could never get sitting in a traditional classroom all day long. So let me share with you why homeschooling shouldn't be seen as an additional burden. It's actually a priceless opportunity. Now, the first reason is that I really wanted to give my kids a tailored, well-rounded education. Because when we think about traditional school, you realize that it really offers a one-size-fits-all learning approach. Because it has to. There are just too many kids in each class to be able to personalize everything for each student. But with homeschooling, I can give my kids a well-rounded education that's theirs, one that connects to their interests, that honors their culture, and that supports how they learn best as individuals. As a family, we can take a deep dive into Black history and literature, or we can experiment with STEM projects, or we can take a day trip to visit a historical marker and turn it into a whole entire living lesson. Because when you're homeschooling, you're not just throwing textbooks at your kids and telling them to read within the lines, you're actually creating a tailored, intentional education that helps them flourish in ways that are above and beyond that of a traditional classroom. Now, my second reason is all about exposure, because here's something that most kids never get. And that's a front row seat to how ideas become income. So whether it's been me in my own business or as I've been working a 9 to 5 job, my girls continue to get exposure to business. They see how I prepare for the work that I do, how I plan, how I iterate, how I collaborate with colleagues. And oftentimes, they ultimately get to see the finished product of our work. And that's a priceless education in and of itself, because when we homeschool, I can fold them into that business journey. So whether it's them helping me with small tasks or encouraging my kids to set up a business of their own. So instead of waiting until young adulthood to have this type of exposure to business, my girls are already learning that building something for yourself is possible at any age. And truly, that exposure is planting seeds of confidence and creativity that they'll carry with them forever. And then for my third reason, let me take you back for a moment, because when I was heading off to college, I had no idea what I wanted to do for a living. So people told me, "You're smart, you love to talk, you'd be a great lawyer." So pre-law is the path that I thought I was on. But looking back on it now, I know I actually would have hated it, because I've never been exposed to what lawyers actually do, the studying that they have to do, the preparation. I just knew the TV version that I saw on Law and Order and LA Law. And no one ever challenged me to consider what I like or what inspired me as an individual, which is one of the dangers of being so singularly focused on academics for the first 18 years of your life. You gain very little context or knowledge about what's really out there in the real world. And so I don't want that for my kids. Homeschooling actually lets me give them more experiences and more exposure to things like traveling, to volunteering, or even to getting real world experiences with internships. So my hope is that by the time they head off to college or wherever their young adult lives take them, they'll already know so much more about what excites them and what doesn't. And I believe that that is a game changer for their future. So if you're listening to me and you're thinking, wow, I'd really love to get my kids those opportunities too, but I don't have any idea where to start. Don't worry, because I've got you. My free START Homeschooling Workshop walks you through the 5 steps to begin homeschooling with clarity and with confidence. And you can grab it from my website, homeschoolourway.com/start, or you can just click the link in the description. So as a working mom, would it have been easier for me to get things done if I could drop my kids off at school every day? Maybe, but I didn't choose to homeschool because it's more convenient. I chose it because my girls deserve a customized education, real world exposure, and the freedom to discover their talents and passions so that as young women, they're well prepared to step fully into who they are meant to be. So that's it for today. I hope you found this episode helpful. Make sure to subscribe and to keep tuning in for continued support in your homeschool journey. And don't forget, learning never ever stops, and homeschool is a beautiful way to live that out. I'll see you in the next one.